What's in store, Matt, this week with the NFL draft forthcoming?
I mean, all eyes on Caleb Williams, of course, and so he's going to be a Chicago Bear in Detroit. So, like, the Lion fans are going to be howling. We'll see if a viral moment emerges from that. But, in terms of Caleb Williams is going to be the number one pick, and it's going to add to Lincoln Riley's storehouse of number one picks with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray. So that's certainly going to be a selling point to put USC front and center. But I think a really interesting story is, after Caleb Williams, how's the rest of the quarterback room going to look like at the draft? Drake May, JJ McCarthy's rise on the draft board, that's kind of caught me off guard. Jaden Daniels, and then of course Michael Penix and Bo Nix from the Pac-12. How are all of them going to line up? That's certainly going to be interesting, because it's not just going to be Caleb Williams on an island. It's going to be how all of these different quarterbacks compare. And of course, like we remember, Mitch Trubisky, being taken several spots ahead of Patrick Mahomes. So, Caleb Williams, he's going to be taken several spots ahead of, various other quarterbacks. And if one of those other quarterbacks falls outside of the top five, but does really, really well, and Caleb Williams struggles, it's going to be, Caleb Williams could be like the next Mitch Trubisky, the guy who was overrated and the guy who was taken at the top. Now, I don't think he's overrated, folks, just to be clear. But that's going to be part of the story on draft night, is where the other quarterbacks stack up to Caleb, and it's going to create the template for the conversation points that are going to greet us in this 2024 NFL season. But beyond that, I mean, I'm really interested in, and this is not going to happen on Thursday, right? This is going to be more of a day 2 and a day 3 thing. But where do USC's other players go? The player I've been really interested in all along, and I've mentioned his name multiple times here at the Voice of College Football, is Taj Washington. I'm not going to call him the next Amon-Ra St. Brown, but I do think that, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's going to bring value to an NFL team if used in the right way, if brought into a system where he can thrive. I think that he can have a very promising career as a possession guy, a third down guy. And, whereas St. Brown fell to day 3 in the 4th round, and the Lions gleefully scooped him up with one of the steals of that draft a few years ago, I would like to see Taj Washington be a late day 2 pick, in the back end of the 3rd round. I really think he's earned that. I think he's that good. Really will want to see Taj Washington be a day 2 pick. And then the other main storyline for USC, once you get past the offensive side of the ball, is, for Kalen Bullock and the other defensive prospects. They suffered because of Alex Grinch's coaching. They suffered because USC had an overly complicated scheme and the Trojans were soft. Will these defensive prospects be able to show out on their own and just kind of plant their own flag and be able to tell NFL teams and their scouting departments, hey, don't judge me by the coaching I received from Alex Grinch. Judge me by what I can do on my own. We're going to see if those workouts, the combines, the pro days, if they really did pay off for Bullock and some of the other USC defensive prospects. So can they find value on the draft board? Can they rise in spite of the poor coaching that they had the past few years? So those really are the main baskets, the main silos of draft intrigue for USC. It's Caleb Williams measured against the other quarterbacks. Can Taj Washington be more valued on the draft board than Amon-Ra St. Brown? And then can the defensive prospects rise on the board and overcome the Alex Grinch factor? Those are the 3 main stories for USC at the NFL draft.
I'll be dead honest, Matt. I really haven't been paying attention. I mean, I do know that Caleb and Daniels, are gonna go high, and Drake May. But what about a guy like Marshon Lloyd? I mean, I know that running backs generally, it's not a highly sought after position, but he seemed to me like a guy, good hands, strong, good blocker. What are his prospects in the draft?
He's been labeled a mid-round selection. I think that if he can go on day 2, Friday, he would be happy, and I think that would be a reasonably good position for him to land on. In terms of the NFL draft grades, that the Dane Bruglers and the Daniel Jeremiahs, the Lance Zierleins, the people who just go through the whole compendium and study everyone on film. Marshon Lloyd graded out better than the other non-Caleb Williams USC prospects. So, that should translate into a day 2 selection. Maybe if he can go in the second round, I think that would be a tremendous result, but at least in the third round, for sure. If Marshon Lloyd's still on the board on Saturday for day 3, that would certainly rate it as a disappointment for him, no question.
Because I am looking at 16 Trojans that showed up at Pro Day. Now, obviously, those are anyone that could possibly have a pipe dream of reaching the NFL. And of course, they want to put those measurements out there, not necessarily just for the draft, but some of them for a possible phone call after the NFL draft and free agency. But he was the first person I was going to ask about before Tim jumped in there. And he's the most accomplished Brendan Rice to a certain extent in regards to college production, which of course doesn't always translate and is not the first bullet point for NFL scouts.
I think the fact that Lloyd got so much work and got such a long look from the USC staff last year, like that should bode well for him on draft night, particularly on Friday, day 2. That it's not as though he was he wasn't a niche role player. He was the lead dog, much as Travis Dye was the year before in 2022. And so, seeing not just that Lloyd was productive, but that he took a pounding, he was a workhorse, that should work in his favor in terms of getting a day 2 selection.
Good point made here by Gerardo, because we do have about 130 watching on YouTube. We've got about 220 watching total when we include Twitter, X, as it were. And please, those folks on X, consider if you want to join the conversation, get into it with other USC fans, other college football fans. The place to be is here on YouTube, where you can join the chat. But we do appreciate you watching on any platform. But the likes total is a little bit down, and we believe, we trust that you like what we deliver here at the Voice of College Football a little bit more than that. So please hit the like button. It takes just a split second. I'm guessing that Slap Happy has hit the like button. Slap Happy is in the house. We better not suck this year. Fight on.
I want a t-shirt, Slap. You get that t-shirt, I'll buy it. You let me know. We better not suck this year. Fight on. I would buy that shirt. And while you're at it, if you're going to hit the like button, might as well hit subscribe, you guys, for more content, something like this. We got a great USC football community, plenty of great channels. I'll tell you what, back in the days in the 90s, when I was trying to follow the Trojans in the dark, Paul Hackett years, I was dying for any kind of content. So I get some press telegrams clippings here, some Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, maybe once in a while, even some Jim Rome SC talk. But now you guys got it made with all the different content makers out there. You got Trojan Blade with Gabe in the chat here. I saw all the guys that light the torch. You got USCJ, and then you got us. And when we're on at least 2 times a week. So, and then also you can find Matt and myself as always on. Well, actually, no, you can see Matt because I've been slacking a little bit, but every day Matt's always there. But I'll be on Trojans Wire a lot more now that things get a little more settled down at school for me. So look for a lot more content there as well.
Tim, if you make the request, hit up our buddy Joey Foster. We've got the merch store, and there it is. And he will make up just about anything possible. Now, we do have a USC. There it is. Tim is the walking billboard for us. Thank you for that, Tim. So there it is, Voice of College Football. I'm going to leave the link there in the chat, and we will continue to talk football, of course. Allow us our promo from time to time. All right. We also have our buddy Jeff chiming in. I'm broke. Well, Jeff, hopefully better
Wait, hold
days
on.
are ahead.
Hang on a minute. Jeff's not broke because this man is single-handedly supporting every Trojan YouTube channel out there that I'm aware of. Again, I can't remember last time I went to an SC show, and I go to a lot of them, and I did not see Jeff in there, and I did not see Jeff donating. Jeff, you are one of the best supporters of the entire community. I can definitely speak for this channel, and we really appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. And just to back that up, Jeff coming back, super stickers, got nothing to say this time. He's standing on I'm broke, but he's going to multiply that investment by about 5 or 6 times. Appreciate that, Jeff. All right.
So Tim, like talking to people, either those who cover USC or those who follow USC, were you able to have any interesting behind the scenes, behind the ropes conversations at the spring game? Inquiring minds want to know.
Some of them, yeah, but a lot of it was like stuff I probably don't want to repeat. But just the general conversations that it seemed very positive. You know, it is spring, right? Hope springs eternal. I did hear some concerns about the quarterback play again. You know, you got to remember these defenses are sitting on a lot of routes. You guys, they're watching, and vice versa. You know, the quarterbacks and the offense, they're looking at the coverages and they know that stuff too. So really, what we're seeing in the spring game, it could flare either way. But what you can't do, again, like I said, is a true freshman Marcellus Williams, absolutely playing just great football. And then Prophet Brown also getting a lot of praise. And then this is the first time I got to see DeCarlos Nichols. I've seen him in some position drills like that, but I hadn't seen him actually out there. He is every bit that length in the secondary for USC is something special. It's a stark difference, not just the height, but also just the size of some of these guys. Really interesting to see. You could definitely tell that they're trained up by Belk. Guys, the guys are turning around, tracking the ball, turning their hips, everything. The technically sound secondary. It looked really nice to see. Linebackers were out there flashing. I did like what I saw as far as from running. This is the first time I've seen a lot of Amarian Peterson. We've seen Quentin Joyner a little bit last year, but we really got a good look at just how hard Peterson could run. One play in particular, he ran up the middle and was just taking shots. I'm pretty sure if that wasn't, it might have been Brian Jackson, but I'm pretty sure it was Amarian Peterson. But both those guys are a load. I mean, and they're not like ridiculously oversized running backs, but they're strong and big and they hit. So I think they were taking it kind of easy on Woody Marks, right, and Quentin Joyner, the presumptive starters for next year. But we got to see Peterson and Jackson, especially in the goal line with Brian Jackson. I mean, that was I'm really excited to see when the training wheels come off the defense, when they pull the curtains away from the offense. I think that with the tight end play, that looks really great. Joey Olsen had this one play, sort of tossing the flat, where he just straight arms a safety and just runs for another, 8-9 yards. Just as that you saw his athleticism coming out. This guy was a receiver, but he's bulked up. He looks like every bit of a tight end. He's got all the size. And then remember, we have Walter Matthews out of Georgia coming in. Both those guys I just named, Olsen and Matthews, were highly coveted by Georgia for the tight end position, and they're both here at USC. Going to be fun to see what Lincoln Riley could do with those two gems in his offense.
Yeah. So
and
Tim,
then, don't forget Lake McCree too. I believe he's injured, he's hurt, he's coming back. He's very athletic. Just got to keep that guy healthy.